What's up, ladies and gentlemen? In this video, I want to be able to compare and contrast 4 different transformations for the absolute value function. We're going to look at some basic transformations that all students should know, but then also I want to highlight the exact differences between 2 different transformations that always go ahead and mix students up. But before we can get into any transformations, we need to understand what exactly the parent graph is going to look like. So the parent graph for the absolute value of x, the function is going to look like this. Now the graph is going to be what we call the V-shaped graph, okay? And so the reason why it's called a V-shaped graph is because obviously it just looks like a nice little V, okay? The slope is 1/1 going over to the right and -1/1 going to the left, but there's no negative values or y values down below here, right? It's all going to be above the x-axis. So when we're looking into transformations, we need to understand the transformations of any function. Now for the absolute value function, we're going to work on 2 different transformations. So the first transformation that I want to go over is going to be y equals absolute value of x minus 4. Now to understand this transformation as well as the next one is we need to understand this format, y equals x minus c plus d. Now in your textbook or your notes from your teacher, they might have used h and k. And a lot of times you use h and k, if you remember, to represent the vertex for a quadratic or a parabola. And that would be like that little vertex, that low point of a parabola. Now remember, the parabola was the U-shaped graph. This is the V-shaped graph. H and K is really kind of the exact same thing. That's what they are representing. So we could do that if you want to, but we're going to go beyond that in this video. And that's why I'm going to use the C and the D. I just want you to understand they represent really the exact same thing, the vertex of this graph. But not all functions have a vertex. So that's why a lot of times in a general format for transformations of functions, we use C and D to represent these transformations. So if you look at this, I have y equals absolute value of x minus 4. You can see that this is representing my d. And this is going to be a vertical transformations, okay? So when you plus or minus a d and it's outside of the absolute value function or outside that function, that's going to be shifting your graph up or down, just like it would be for a quadratic. And this, ladies and gentlemen, since it's negative, is actually going to shift the graph 4 units down. So we'll take our original graph, which we have right here, and all we're simply going to do is just kind of move that vertex or this low point down 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is going to be our final graph with that transformation. So that's number 1. The next one that we need to make sure we understand is going to be, well, what about if I have x minus 4 inside the absolute value? So outside the absolute value, that was a vertical shift. If it's going to be inside the absolute value, that is going to be a horizontal shift, okay? Now, a lot of students get this mixed up because we know minus 4 goes down. So they'd assume down is negative, up is positive, right? To the left is negative, to the right is positive. So a lot of students would assume this is going to go to the left. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this, this format is like this, x minus c. Another way we could write this is x minus parentheses c plus d. So what that means is c is actually positive inside these parentheses. That would be actually a shift to the right when it's like this. If it looked like this, x minus a negative c, that would be a shift to the left. But x minus a negative c is really the same thing as x plus c when you go ahead and simplify it, okay? So it's just it's a little distinction that makes a big difference. So this x minus 4 actually means my 4, if we put parentheses around that, is actually going to be positive. So this is actually going to be a shift to the right. So what I'm going to do is take this original graph over here and shift it not down or not to the left, but to the right 4 units. So that is going to look just like this. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, just rewrite our exact same parent graph. No other transformations are happening. Now, these are the 2 basics that we need to make sure we understand and know the difference of. Students will make mistakes on. But the next 2 transformations are something that we don't cover a lot in our class. And that's a lot of times because we get to these transformations later with different functions when things get a little bit more complex and we can actually understand these transformations being applied. But once we understand them, we need to go back and apply them to our absolute value function to make sure we understand what really is going on with our function. So what I'm talking about here is this next one. If I have a 4 minus a absolute value of x. Now, a lot of times students will make mistakes here is because they will assume this still only has one transformation, right? You just see the 4 and the minus and you think, oh, maybe that's a shift down or a shift up in the case. But in reality, yes, we have a horizontal shift, but we also have a coefficient of our function, right? This is actually a -1 times a absolute value of x. So we need to add in another variable into our transformations. So that would be y equals a times absolute value of x. Oops, I got to conclude my c. Absolute value of x minus c plus d. Okay, now when you have a value that is being multiplied by your function, in this case, the absolute value function, if you remember from quadratics, that vertically stretches or compresses your graph or reflects it about the x-axis. So in this case, we always want to make sure we take this function and rewrite it into that format. Now notice this is a 4 with nothing in front of it. So we can assume here that's going to be a positive 4, right? Because there's no negative in front. You're not subtracting the 4, even though this negative is being multiplied by the x. So when we rewrite this, we would rewrite it as a negative absolute value of x plus a 4. So now we have two transformations, right? We have this plus 4, which is going to shift our graph up 4, right? Because negative goes down. So now we have to shift the graph up 4. But then also we have this multiplying by negative. And if you remember from quadratics, when you multiply that coefficient is negative, that is going to be a reflection of our x-axis. So it's important to apply this function first and then shift it up 4 units. So the graph is simply going to be orientated downwards, right? So if you take this graph, now we're going to flip it across the x-axis and then shift it up 4 units. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete those because I don't want to, I forgot. I don't want them to get confused here. So now the orientation is going down, but we're going to shift it up 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. That is what that graph would look like. A common mistake those students will do is they will shift it up 4 units first and then flip it. And it looks something like that. Don't do that, okay? You always make sure you apply the negative first and then go and apply your vertical transformation. All right, let's get to the last one, which again is going to have two transformations that a lot of students will make mistakes on. So y equals absolute value of 4 minus x. Now again, students will assume that this has only, again, one transformation. So just like we did x minus 4, remember that was shifting over to the right. This is not the same thing. This is 4 minus x. Now, the tricky one about this is we actually can't visualize, or we're actually not going to see all the transformations. That's why doing this for other functions is more useful, I think, for understanding the transformations that are going on. But it's important to understand that's exactly, these transformations still got applied to exactly this function. Now, we also have to introduce our last variable here, okay? So again, if I was to rewrite this, or to take a look at this, I could rewrite this as a times b times x minus c plus d, all right? So again, we always want the x to be in front of our c. So if I rewrite this in positive terms, it's going to look like this, negative x plus 4. Now again, just like when we had that up here, right, we always want to make sure we apply the negative first and then we go ahead and do the plus 4. But over here, if we look at our transformations, we know it's a little bit different, right? We have parentheses going on here. That's extremely important. So to identify this b, we need to make sure we factor out whatever is in front of that x. And in this case, you can see it's a negative. So to understand the transformations correctly, and this is where students get their mistakes or where they make their mistakes, we have to factor out the -1. Because remember, that's a -1 times x. When you factor out a -1 from the negative x plus 4, you're going to get a x minus 4. This is important because remember that x minus 4, right, was a shift in 4 units to the right. This is going to be a reflection about the y-axis. Now, this is kind of important because if we look back at our parent graph, let's just go back up here. When we look back at our parent graph, if you take this graph and reflect it about the x-axis, it's now facing down. If we take this graph and reflect it about the y-axis, you're just going to get the exact same graph, okay? So the transformation still gets applied, but it's just going to look exactly the same. So now we're going to apply this, and then we're going to shift it over 4 units. So you take your original graph, reflect it about the y-axis, which gives you the exact same parent graph, and then shift it over 4 units. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are going to be your 4 different types of transformations that I think it's just critically important to make sure you understand the differences on. If you want to see some more examples of me graphing absolute value functions or other functions, or just understanding those in general, then check out the next video I have for you here. Cheers.